Okay, AEW New Japan Forbidden Door is come and gone. So yeah, there were some last minute changes to the card. So you're gonna see some pictures that don't necessarily align with everything, and there's pictures for things I just could not get. So you're gonna have to make do with what I show. Anyway, yeah. First and foremost, obviously, the match between Adam Cole and Filthy Tom Lawler got called off due to illness. Apparently, Adam Cole got sick somewhere along the way. Anyway, our first kickoff show match was supposed to be a trio, originally labeled a trios match, then got changed to an 8-man match. Chaos and El Desperado, that's the Best Friends and Rocky Romero, versus the Mogul family, that's Swerve Scott's faction. Like I said, this was originally a trios match. A lot of torpes in this match onto the Gates of Agony and everyone. All the men hit. At one point, Lecter of the Gates of Agony hit a Samoan drop on Trent Beretta. Trent Beretta worked a lot of this match. Cage hit him with a DVD on the apron. Desperado got in, hit Swerve with a big spine buster. Swerve hit his sort of running stomp kick at one point too. The Best Friends go for a hug in the middle as Desperado was in the middle of it, about to hit a cannonball or a move on Swerve. And that kind of allowed Swerve to get back into the match, though he and Cage wound up getting some friendly fire. Eventually, the Best Friends came back. They hit the Storm Zero, but only got a 2 count. It got broken up. And then eventually, like I said, Cage hit Swerve, but he gets over it, and Cage and Swerve hit the F5 and the... what did I write here? They hit an F5 kind of cutter combo on... that's what I wrote. Cutter combo on Trent Beretta again for the 3 count of the victory. No, wait. Rocky Romero. My mistake. Rocky Romero took the pin there. So, yeah, a little too much going on in this match. Little clunky. Very cluttered. I think it went a little too long as well. Like, you know, you have the heels hit the friendly fire, but then they win the match. Doesn't really make any sense. So yeah, just kind of a confusing little match there. Moving on, we had Billy Starks taking on Thea. This is the women's bracket in the Owen Hart tournament. Athena attempted the handshake fake out and almost got rolled up right off the bat. Starks did hold her own in this match. This was not a squash match. She got some good licks in. She had a brainbuster on the knee. Athena went for the Eclipse at one point. Starks rolled it out of the way. Athena came back. She tripped Starks on the top rope and hit a head scissors and a power bomb and then a super kick. Athena then avoided a move to get on the apron, hit a running knee into the turnbuckle, and then she hit gut wrench codebreaker for the 3 count in the victory. So yeah, not really surprised that Athena advanced. It's one of those, they're probably setting up for either Willow Nightingale against Ruiz Soho in the finals or Sky Blue against Athena in the finals, because either of those could work out. Probably want to be, yeah, it's like a babyface has to win one of these, which we'll get to, I guess, when we get to that point. But yeah, overall, decent enough match, good opening round tournament type match. So, you know, no real squashes, which is nice. Our next match is, I guess you say, a bonus match. I'm not entirely sure because I don't remember this one being announced at all. It's El Phantasmo, X of Bullet Club versus Stu Grayson, X of the Dark Order, currently in Los Facción Irrenovables. Grayson kicked Phantasmo off the top ropes. Both men exchanged chops for a while. Phantasmo came back with a double purple nurple. Phantasmo hit a senton lion salt combination. Grayson hit fireman face buster. Phantasmo hit a top rope Frankenstein and a splash. Grayson hit a Pele kick and a 450. Phantasmo came back, hit a tornado DDT and a flapjack for the 3 count of the victory. Yeah, again, this is probably a match that came together at the last minute because of they had to cancel the Cole Lawler match. So yeah, this screams a match that got cobbled together at the last minute. Like, it was not a bad match, but it was just kind of there. Not too much to really describe. Okay, our final kickoff show match was an actual trios match this time, and they held firm. It was the United Empire versus Los Ignobles de Japón. Pardon my pronunciation. Right off the bat, the teams jumped each other and fought before the bell rang. Jeff Cobb and what did I write there? Oh, TJP focused on Bishu. TJP worked a lot of this match. He'd get a big head scissors onto Fletcher. He inadvertently hit a hit on his teammate Fletcher. Cobb came in, hit a big belly-to-belly on Takagi. LAJ eventually gained up on TJP. Shingo eventually had TJP with the Made in Japan for the 3 count of the victory. Again, not a bad match, but a pretty bog standard trios match. Nothing to really write home about. No big moments to really talk too much there. Like I said, overall it was a decent little match. But again, I kind of wish maybe they had just gone with 3 kickoff show matches, and then then maybe this one could have had a bit more time to breathe. I think because this one felt a little rushed. Unlike the 8-man tag earlier, which felt too drawn out. So that maybe would have helped budget their time a little bit better. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to the show proper now. We opened up with the AEW World Championship match, MJF and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Right off the bat, MJF tried to walk out. As soon as Tanahashi had any type of maneuver, he tried to powder and move. Tanahashi let a coward chant that got MJF back in the ring. He began to put some moves. He hit a slingshot suplex at one point. And MJF put on an abdominal stretch. Tanahashi came back. He had a second rope senton. MJF broke up the high-fly flow by grabbing onto the ropes. MJF hit a butterfly shoulder breaker, but kind of tweaked his knee in the process. Tanahashi tried to put him in the cloverleaf. He went for the high-fly flow again, but MJF got his legs up. Eventually, MJF grabbed the belt. The ref fought it out of the way, but actually he'd also grabbed the Dynamite Diamond ring and used that to cheap shot Tanahashi while he was arguing with the ref. So MJF gets the 3 count of the victory. So kind of a predictable match. Not terribly great, I'd say. MJF did some really good heel work, I think, in this, and that really did help carry the match. But yeah, the problem with Tanahashi is he can't. They even said that part of the problems is the turnbuckles are different in AEW than they are in Japan. So, when he gets up to the high-fly flow, he has to really try to balance himself and center himself. So it takes him an additional 5 or 6 seconds to set things up, and that adds to a real clunkiness in the overall pacing of the match, which unfortunately does kind of drag it down a little bit. Okay, so then our next match was the Men's Own Heart Tournament quarterfinal between CM Punk and Satoshi Kojima. Unlike last night where the crowd was more 50-50 as to whether or not Punk is a face or a heel, here he was more definitely heel. He was definitely booed way more. Punk got goaded into getting hit with a hip toss at one point. Kojima chopped Punk in the corner. Punk mocked Kenta, who was his original opponent for this, but yeah, he kept doing the Mongolian chops over and over again. He screamed Kojima's name. Kojima came back, hit a dropped elbow. A big elbow drop to Punk's groin. Punk hit an elbow drop of his own and locked on the Anaconda Vice. Kojima came off the ropes in a big cutter. Or he countered a go to sleep into a cutter is what I mean to say. Punk eventually came back. He had a big lariat of his own and then hit the GTS for the 3 count of the victory. No real shock here. Punk is probably going to win the Owen Hart tournament this year. It's kind of a mixed bag because, again, I don't mind Punk winning this match in particular, but the tournament overall, it's like that should probably be used to help build someone. It's like Punk's already built, so I would rather see a Ricky Starks or a Powerhouse Hobbs win. But yeah, but in all likelihood, Punk's going to win the tournament, and that's going to help propel him into his feud with MJF. So. Yeah, like I said, overall the match was fun. It had some good moments. Punk is definitely working more heel now. So yeah, I'm guessing Punk's heel from here on out. Okay, our next match is the four-way match for the AEW International Championship. Orange Cassidy against Zack Sabre Jr., Daniel Garcia, and Katsuyori Shibata. Early on, Orange did his little lackadaisical kicks to all three men. Eventually, they got into more of a fight. Garcia went for the sharpshooter right off the bat. Shibata got in, tried to get a figure four on. We got simultaneous big boots on all four men. At one point, Orange hit the Stun Dog Millionaire and then the Tornado DDT on Garcia. Garcia came in and hit Shibata in the back of the head with the championship belt and tried to get the cheap victory. Didn't work. Zack Sabre Jr. came in, kind of cleared house a little bit, but then Garcia got involved again. Shibata hit the PK on Garcia, but then Orange threw Shibata out of the ring and got the cover on Garcia for the 3 count of the victory. Kind of a heelish move there, so I don't know if that means we're getting a character change for Orange Cassidy, which is weird given another heel turn we're going to get to here. But yeah, so I don't know what that means. Afterwards, Sabre, Cassidy, and Shibata all kind of stared in the ring. Sabre yelled at Cassidy and then left. Shibata and Cassidy shook hands, so they seem to have made nice. Like I said, a little bit confusing. Overall, the match was really fun. I had a lot of great moments. All the men looked strong. There were a couple points I honestly did think like Garcia was maybe going to win the championship, but didn't quite happen. But still, like I said, the only thing is I think the ending just, again, felt a little weird given how over Orange Cassidy is right now. So it kind of didn't make sense to do that type of finish. I would rather have Shibata hit the PK and then Orange hit the Orange Punch. Yeah, or something to that effect rather than, yeah, or then catch him in the mousetrap rather than, you know, getting that type of cheap victory. Anyway, moving on to our next match, which was the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match, Sonata against Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Early on, Perry went right away for the snare trap. Sonata came back with a big drop kick. Perry hit a big drop kick and sent Sonata out of the ring. Sonata put Perry in the Paradise Lock. Perry came back in a Tiger Driver 91. Perry hit locked on a Dragon Sleeper, which is, you know, Sonata's finisher. Sonata came back and hit the TKO. Sonata came back, hit a big swinging, right here, a swinging drop kick type maneuver. I can't read what I wrote here. Sorry. He hit a swinging maneuver and then followed that up with the Shining Wizard and then hit the Great Muda Moonsault for the 3 count of the victory. Overall, really fun match. Really good job doing this. You know, Perry managed to come through and hit some big maneuvers. You know, kind of knew he wasn't going to win, but still, you know, you have to at least look like, hey, maybe they could throw you the curve here and get you excited for that. And there were a few points where that happened, you know. So, again, it's like, okay, how's Sonata going to get out of this one? Afterwards, Sonata did seem to give Perry some respect. And then he and Hook, who was with them, Jungle Boy, went up to the top of the ramp, and Jungle Boy turned heel. He attacked Hook, hit him with a couple of big kicks, taunted the crowd, do the Jungle Boy wave, and it's just like, I'm sick of this crap. He then picked up the FTW Championship and threw it back to Hook and walked off. So, yes, Jungle Boy has turned heel. Krusty the Clown is probably in a great shock. Given that his nephew has now turned on his partner again. So, yeah, I kind of hope this builds to Jungle Boy winning the FTW Championship, because that's it. The idea is he's supposed to win a singles belt. I mean, the fact that he said he was going to win one before Christian Cage, and now technically Christian Cage is carrying around a championship belt is a little off. So, yeah, I think this heel turn really needed to happen. I think it was building to that. I mean, once he accepted the challenge, he said, Hook, I need you there with me. It's like, yeah, you're turning heel. So, yeah, it should lead to some fun direction with that character, I think. It probably needed to be done for a while. And that leads us into our next match, which is the 10-man tag between the Blackpool Combat Club, Shota Yamuto and Takeshita against the Elite, Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. Right off the bat, Claudio Castagnoli was trying to avoid Kingston as best he could and tagged Umino in. Hangman Page tagged in and fought with Umino for a while. Ishii and Takeshita squared off with forearms. At one point, Takeshita got a big forearm on Ishii. It looked like he knocked him out cold. Eventually, boy, what did I write here? The Bucks hit a gutbuster neck breaker on Wheeler Yuta. Eddie Kingston came in. He had a big standoff with Jon Moxley. Eventually, they just started chopping each other for a good 5 minutes. Claudio eventually got involved and attacked Kingston. They got to the outside of the ring. Takeshita avoided a BTE trigger. Page came in, cleared house again. Eddie Kingston then took a super kick that was meant for Moxley. He basically intervened, like he ran into it. He wasn't pulled into it or anything like that. Kingston then, but then Kingston came back and saved Matt Jackson from a pin. Eventually, Ishii hit Wheeler Yuta with the brainbuster for the 3 count of the victory. Overall, fun match. I think the Elite needed to get their victory back, especially after Double or Nothing. So yeah, it needed to happen, I think, and it helps get some momentum back. It does, again, also present some interesting ideas as what they're going to do with Kingston and Moxley and Claudio. So yeah, again, we're taking things in good directions. I think this match did a good job of doing that. Okay, our next match is the AEW Women's Championship match. Toni Storm versus Willow Nightingale. Storm tried to run off the bat. Nightingale came back out, hit a big running drop kick, sending Storm into the timekeeper's area. She then got into a fight with Soho and Saraya. That enabled Storm to hit a running hip attack to knock Nightingale out of the ring so that Storm and Soho could, or not Storm, Saraya and Soho could beat up Nightingale. Nightingale came back, she hit a big power bomb. She countered a power bomb into a she powered out of a full Nelson, sorry. Sometimes my brain's so bad. Hit a power slam. Nightingale hit an apron DVD. The Outcasts tried to get the spray paint can into the ring, but the ref caught them and ejected them. Nightingale hit locked Storm in an inverted deathlock. But eventually, Storm raked Willow Nightingale's eyes and hit the Storm Zero for the 3 count of the victory. So at one point, the paint can got back in the ring. I don't know how that happened, but it wasn't used, so I don't think it was supposed to happen at all. Overall, a decent enough match. Definitely a bit of a palate cleanser given what was coming up. But yeah, overall, decent match. Nightingale looks strong, so again, you could see her possibly winning the women's Owen Hart bracket if that comes to pass. Our next match is the IWGP United States Championship match between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Ospreay is, of course, accompanied by Don Callis and his top-notch security, whoever they are. Omega, spiked Ospreay out of a head scissors. Ospreay really cut back on the aerial assault. At one point, he did hit a shooting star press with Omega draped over the apron. Ospreay spiked Omega's face off of the placard on the announce table and started bleeding. Omega came back. He hit a V-trigger into the ring barricade, and then he slammed Ospreay's head off of the ring steps to get him to bleed. Omega then hit a DDT on the ring steps. Ospreay came back. He hit a short arm power bomb. He locked on a sharpshooter, modified it into a crossface. Omega then countered an Oscutter with a V-trigger. Ospreay hit a super kick. He followed that up with a Phoenix Splash to the outside of the ring. At this point, Don Callis got involved a couple of times. He got ejected, but he came back, slipped Ospreay the screwdriver so he could get out of the One-Winged Angel. He hit the One-Winged Angel on Omega. Omega kicked out at 1. Another point, Ospreay hit the Stormbreaker, got a 2 count because Omega got his foot on the ropes. Like I said, Ospreay then hit the One-Winged Angel. Omega went for the one-ringed angel again. Callis was stopped getting involved at this point. Eventually, Ospreay hit a hidden blade off the top rope. He hit the Tiger Driver 91. Ospreay fought out of it again, and he hit another hidden blade and the Stormbreaker to finally get the 3 count of the victory. And this match was just amazing. It was so fun. It was so good. So intense. Again, knew Will Ospreay was probably going to win this, but there were times where like, oh, are they not going to pull the trigger here? Are they going to have Omega actually win this? Because there were times it was just everything was happening. It's like when Omega kicks out a finisher after finisher after finisher, it's like, okay, well, he's got to win this then. And it was just a great job of telling the story, and it was well done. Again, you know, because Don Callis gets involved now, it's sort of tainted in some way. And Omega can move on to feuding with Takeshita and how that pans out. So, again, really fun match. Probably the match of the night, at least a strong candidate for it. The next match after that was the 6-man tag, Sting, Darby Allin, and Tetsuya Naito against Chris Jericho, Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara. Naito and Guevara taunted each other to start things off. Naito messed with Guevara's hair after a big drop kick. He played with it like that. Suzuki appeared to knock Allin out with a big elbow. Suzuki and Sting squared off a little bit and chopped each other. Sting does a dodged a splash and put Jericho in the Scorpion. Guevara broke that up with a big cutter. Eventually, the heels looked to dominate a bit. Jericho got at a table, put Sting on it, made Sammy do a 630 onto Sting through the table. Unfortunately, that took Guevara out for the rest of the match, so they lost a big point there, and that enabled Sting to eventually get in and help Naito. Hit a double team on Suzuki, who Naito rolling Suzuki up for the 3 count of the victory. Nothing too much afterwards. Jericho did attack Sting and the others with the bat. Sting got his bat and chased Jericho off, and that was how that happened. So if you're looking for the big Sammy turns on Jericho moment, it didn't quite happen. And again, this was kind of another filler match, so overall, not terrible, but yeah, it just kind of was there because they needed to branch into the main event. And that leads us into our main event, Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. Bryan Danielson came out to the final countdown, his old indie theme for first time in a long time. And you know what, he was smiling down to the ring, so I have to wonder if that was meant to be a surprise. And he doesn't really, he hasn't smiled since he turned heel, so yeah, it was a little fun. Right off the bat, Danielson went for a surfboard. Okada came back, hit a big elbow. Okada hit a big boot, sending Danielson over the barricade. Danielson came back, hit a drop kick. He slammed Okada off of the ring post, sorry. Danielson locked on the cattle mutilation. Okada he hurt his arm, so that means he can't do the Rainmaker, hopefully. Okada did come back, hit a big flapjack. He drop kicked Danielson off of the turnbuckle. Okada countered a knee strike into an air raid neckbreaker. Danielson did come back, hit a missile drop kick. He hit a big torpe to the outside, but Okada countered that and hit a tombstone pile driver on the ramp. This began the sequence of Okada goes for Rainmaker, Danielson counters it. He counters it into a couple of Psycho knees. He counters it into a drop kick. He counters it into the label lock a couple of times. Eventually, Okada does hit a Rainmaker and only get a 2 count on it. He goes for one more Rainmaker. Danielson counters it into the label lock. Eventually, it looks like Okada's just about to get to the ropes, and Danielson modifies it into a double label lock, basically. He grabbed the other arm and used his leg to completely pin it behind Okada, and that became just too much for Okada, and he tapped. So, yeah, great match again. Another contender for match of the night, different from Ospreay and Omega. You know, that was your bloody brawl, your kick out of everything, you're getting everything done. This was an old school wrestling match. This was very straightforward. This was straight out of the NWA in the 80s type maneuvers here, like where it's just every little bit given, every little bit taken. He's not gonna, just when you think he finally gets to hit the maneuver, and again it just keeps countering and countering, and so that told an entirely different story. So personally, I think I would go with Omega and Ospreay. I think that was just a little bit more entertaining, but this was still a great match. It still overall helped to build this show up a lot. So yeah, again, a top-notch match. Great work from both guys. And I do believe we're probably going to see this again. Maybe probably at a Wrestle Kingdom. Okay, so overall thoughts on the show. Like I said, overall really good show, really fun. Again, kind of match overkill, a lot like last year. I don't know if we really needed 13 matches. I think if they had shortened this down to 10 or even 9, like, again, the kickoff show matches were just really fillery. Like, I think you leave the Owen Hart qualifiers in there if you're going to do the Owen Hart stuff. That's fine, but yeah, again, maybe pick matches that were a little more even keel, where maybe something could have happened. Again, would have liked to have seen like House of Black put the Trios Championship on the line against someone. Like, that could have been fun. Overall, though, like I said, very fun. The 10-man tag was great. Jungle Boy turning heel, his match was actually really good too. So again, there were a lot of good matches. The problem is there's just a lot of filler too that kind of bogged the show down a little too much, in my opinion. Like I said, match overkill really held this show back again. So overall, I'm going to give this a B+. I don't know if I could quite get into A territory. Like, I think I have to give this a solid B+. Like, B felt a little too low, but A felt a little too high. So yeah, this feels just about right. Like I said, match overkill just held this back. Okay, so wrestling-wise, obviously the next one's probably going to be Money in the Bank. That's next week. That's next Saturday. The next video is obviously going to be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Then the next 2 episodes of Secret Invasion. I'd like to do more WWE 2K23 eFed stuff. I have the footage, but if you recall in my other video, I said I was going to do a full script for it, and I have yet to write that full script. So, yeah, Indiana Jones might be up Friday or early Saturday morning. I'm not entirely sure. I have to house sit next week, so I don't know when I'm going to quite get, or where I'm going to be able to shoot the review. But still, it will be out. AEW-wise, I'd like to do All In. That's the London show. Or maybe I won't do both All In and All Out, but I'll do at least one of them. If I can't do All In, I'll do All Out. Okay? See you all next time. Hey guys, remember you can help me maintain and possibly even expand my professional wrestling covers by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/sleepytimeforcat productions. Also, remember to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.